Hi there, and today we're going to assess a property on 10 Lilac Avenue in Swinton. Now, the annoying part about this is it's kind of it's already intensively bid on. So it was on the market for 180. It's had about 14 offers, I think it is so far, and the bidding has gone up to at least 220,000. In other words, 40,000 over the ask, and it needs probably 20 grand in renovation. It's been taken off Zoopla, so we don't have the estate agency pictures any longer, which is annoying, but there you go. And we do have the Viewer stuff. So we're going to have a quick look through Viewer, just talk about why this property is so desirable, and just give our comments about Swinton and these ultra hot, what I call fashionable places. All right, well, let's go. So I'm going to share screen, and just to reiterate, here are the details for the property. Press enter and it's been taken off. So there you go. Annoying, but there it is. So let's have a look at it outside. At least we can see what it looks like. Now, the thing about this property is it's got a huge garden. So you can see here on the map, lovely big garden. It's a perfect family plot. And it's also really, really, really quiet around here.
Yeah.
So it's just lovely.
Yeah, I want to add there is no any flood risk or coal mining. So that's even more attractive.
Yeah, and it's got a superstore. Like, it's got everything. It's got this Morrison's
really,
thing.
And really close to train station.
I think the main theme with property, as I keep saying to people, is that whatever you buy, you will have to make compromises. And there will never be a property without compromises, unless you're very lucky, but that doesn't happen very often. And so the compromise on this is that it's so desirable that if you want to own it, you have to bid at least £225,000, possibly 230, and preferably with cash, because you're competing against other people who see that this is an amazing property, and they're not even going to be bidding. They're going to be bidding for it with cheaper money than foreign nationals. And that's why even at these crazy numbers, it kind of works. And we'll get into the numbers shortly. Anyway, let's have a look at the videos and we can see what we see. So the first thing is the viewer has said the condition is terrible. It's not terrible, actually. It needs a load of renovation, but it's the right kind of renovation. In other words, the fundamentals are actually quite good. And we'll see this shortly. So look at that lovely back garden. It's just so nice, so big.
Now it showed the garden because your screen was locked.
Sorry, it's jumping around.
Yeah.
And little details here. So these people who own this property have put a lot of money into very good quality renovation. And you can tell by the quality of the carpets and the quality of the overall decor. It's just dated, but actually it's really good quality. You can tell because the carpets are part wool carpets, which are expensive or were expensive in the day. And so it's premium. Now this will eventually come up. There we go. All right. Obviously, these carpets have been refreshed in the upper floor. All this wallpaper needs to come down. But the thing is, all the walls are straight. All the ceilings are plasterboard. All the electrics are basically good. Now, you do have this polystyrene tiles on the ceiling, very bad, but underneath it will be plasterboard ceilings. So it's not like you're stripping plasterboard off an 1890s cottage that was never renovated properly. It's all fundamentally very sound, and you can see the quality of the renovation extends to even this, where even the cupboard has been wallpapered. And annoyingly for us, other people see this, and that's why they've bid so high, because they know it's a really exceptional property. And sometimes you get lucky and other people don't see what's going on, but in this case they do. So this is 1970s wiring. So there is a bet that maybe the wiring won't be good enough to handle a modern fuse board, but overall, I assume that it's probably okay. So far, from what I've seen from 70s wiring, it can handle modern fuse boards, which is good.
Yep.
And you can see here. So
when
this
I did calculation, I assumed 21,000.
Yeah, which is about right. It might be higher. It might be up to 25 if you have to rewire. But overall, I'd say odds are you probably don't have to rewire. Double glazing looks good. Nice garden.
The garden is loaded.
Yeah, well maintained. Look at that. You see, this is what I'm talking about, like attention to detail. These people, whoever it was, whether it's them or somebody else, but somebody put a lot of money into this building.
I think a bathroom, but anyway.
Yeah, dated, but again, nice. Ah, yes, the old polystyrene tiles. These were used before fiberglass insulation. So back in the day, before fiberglass insulation, they used to use these polystyrene tiles as an insulator. And of course, they were quite effective, but not very effective for your life if they go on fire, because then they just drip molten plastic on you and you burn. So that's why they were banned. I expect there are no issues with damp because this property looks late enough, like 1950s perhaps.
I don't have
1950s perhaps.
This property doesn't have EPC, but
yeah,
and I think it's between 30s and 50s.
Yeah, and
but
lovely
I think,
off-street parking. Look at that. It's just.
But maybe it's 50, 66. I suspect it's after the Second World War.
Yeah, such a. Just look at next door. They've got all the stone down and the thing. It's just really nicely done. The roof is yeah. It's got those concrete tiles, so it was probably re-roofed. It probably roofed originally with clay tiles, and then re-roofed with these.
Yeah, it's a lovely property.
Yeah, it's just so nice. But there is a compromise, a fundamental compromise, which is the price. So it's always swings and roundabouts. If you can get money cheaply and you want to own a property that is just fundamental, okay. No, that's an old one. Okay, so yeah, needs a new board. Let's just have a quick look at that again. I know it's all fairly academic because we don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure about the wiring. I am not that confident. It's a good fuse board for the day.
Yeah, but I think it's old.
Is it too old and does it need a rewire? The issue with rewire is once you get into that, you get into ripping out old wire, you get into hacking off plaster, and then you get into replastering, and then everything just takes longer and it's difficult. You got more trades involved. So the ideal renovation is one that looks awful, like a property looks awful, but it doesn't need too many different trades, which then makes the logistics far simpler and frightens off owner occupiers.
Yeah.
But the issue with this one is that we said 20 grand. I'm revising and I'm saying 25. Just because wiring and it's not just the cost of materials, by the way. There's so much demand on good tradespeople, and what's happening now is that we know because we've had to deal with, we're trying to rescue somebody who came to us because they knew we had good contractors. They got screwed over by some unscrupulous contractors. So it's like, I don't want to do a fair sell, but the bottom line is that good contractors are hard to find, and therefore they're expensive because you pay them a bit more to turn up on your site versus somebody else's.
Yeah, and this property will fit one big extension so good.
Yeah, it's the perfect owner-occupier property, isn't it? Just a you're right, just a lovely big, bring that kitchen out, reorganize the floor plan. No wonder people are falling over themselves to own this.
I think this property already had a laboratory downstairs. I'm not sure.
A lavatory, yeah.
Laboratory, yes.
Yeah, this is a great development opportunity. How much are fully developed nice properties around here?
Depends where. For example, I don't know why. In this batch, one property in a better condition, the asking price was 215, and it had new kitchen.
Okay, so let's assume it goes a bit nuts, and therefore it's 235.
I don't know. That's too much. No, I will not pay 215 more than that. Even.
Well, that's the thing. This is the bottom line, that you can have a beautiful house. It's like you can see a mansion somewhere and say, oh, wow, what a beautiful mansion. But there is a compromise. It costs £3 million. And it's exactly the same with this. So in many ways, it's not a beautiful house. It's just an annoying house because it's desirable, but it's expensive. All right, let's look at the crime. Very little crime. It's quiet around here. Very, very, very little crime.
Really good demographic.
Yeah, excellent demographics. Well, I say excellent. Good demographics, not good, very overall good. Good demographics, yes. And just on growth, let's have a look at that, zooming out for you. Huge growth. The thing with Swinton and similar areas is that it's getting overbought, in my opinion, and that's okay. What will happen in these sort of areas is they'll carry on creeping up with capital gain. But I think it did okay in the last crash, this area. So what I'm doing is I'm reading all of this to save you all the numbers and just giving you my interpretation because it saves time and your boredom. But the short of it is, last crash it did very well. It only dropped 4%, but it's gone up. Yeah, so it's gone up from peak of market last time, 13%. I think there's still quite a lot left in this. I think what happened with this area was that it didn't get overbought last time, and now it's kind of equalizing. And I see this a lot where in the previous cycle, an area just doesn't quite get there and doesn't grow as strong as other areas. And then it doesn't crash too bad, and now it's rebalancing. So what I think, yeah, that's my overall take on it. It's rebalancing, and it's still got something left in it, but I would be aware of getting caught in the heat of the moment and overbidding. Yeah, but what a hot area, my goodness.
Yeah.
It's quite something. All right, over to you, Martin.
Yeah, I will share my screen. A location. So first, on the street, this property doesn't have parking, but you can make, obviously. So you have a parking. You can make a parking space here, and what a huge garden! Really huge. One of the biggest in the. This house also have really large, but here are trees, and here is without tree, which is great. There is one tree, but it's in the other house.
Yeah, and also it's
cool the clock.
Let me think. So rises in the east, sets in the west. So yeah, so it doesn't really affect the light too much in the garden.
Yeah. Really close to train station, really close to supermarkets, really close to schools as well, really close to Victoria Park. You have everything what you need around. So
yeah, the thing with properties like this is, for renters, they would like a family home, but actually very often they just want the location. And so they compromise on size and quality just to be somewhere because they think, well, it's only temporary. I'm only renting. I'll be living somewhere else.
25 minutes, central Manchester.
Yeah.
No risk for coal mining or so. No, very low risk for rivers and the sea surface water. It doesn't have EPC, but I guess it will be E or D. But when you will make it, it will be C for sure. So because you can see that in the same, you have a property for C.
Yeah.
It doesn't have historical sale. This property, that means that the one who lived there, he lived there like 30-35 years, so that's why the qualities are good. But I guess it's older person selling now, so the location is like for semi-detached one of the best. So you're paying for the location, and when you check the comparables, and I will just I open all this, so like you can see the terrace house are selling for 240 in this area. So I mean the asking price 260, 250 for semi-detached, 220, 180, but really old terrace house 220. This is terrace, so 215. This is same type of property, and this was April, and it was with purple bricks. And I will show you. This is much modern, but same type of property.
Yeah, but purple bricks is you're kind of looking for trouble if you're dealing with them.
This property is around. It needs painting and changing carpets. Around 6,000 renovation.
So what I'm saying with purple bricks for anyone watching is that
it's correct.
They're not great at optimizing price. So in a way you get cheaper property, but the odds of actually getting a property are quite low because it's usually the vendors it is the vendors you're dealing with, and they're not experienced. And so they get very swayed by sentiment and like just it's messy.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the property is a little bit too, but you pay for the location. So if there wasn't much competition, I will tell you 205 maximum. But if you want to own it, and if you really like this location and it's slowly, then you must go up to 215, 220, maybe even more.
Yeah, 220 all day long. And that's what the bidding is up to now on this.
Yeah. So yeah, as you can see, the properties are here. It's really high price, but
okay, let's talk about rent then. Where are we at with rent?
But you will make it really nice. It will be cool, new one. So I think at least 1,100, but I think it will go 1,200.
I feel 1,200. It's such a nice family home.
Yeah. Let's score it.
Yeah. Okay. And so we say
220.
Yeah, because that's the going to be, and you need 25,000 in it for renovations, and the rent 1,200. Yeah, is that what we're saying?
Yeah. Sorry, my baby is screaming so much. I must check what is going on. Sorry about this.
Okay. Yeah. So just going back to this, I think it probably is worth offering this kind of money, but I'd say to get the property, you would probably have to offer 225,000. Even then, it kind of works, actually. I think it's it's interesting. All right, then. So let's score it whilst Martin is there, so I can do the scoring, I think. So the condition, poor, but fundamentally good, if that makes sense, although it's going to need some wiring and other stuff like that. Location is exceptional. Area, exceptional. Crime, good. Demographic, good. Capital growth, so. I would say it's got some substantial growth in it, but I am not. I think it's got some growth left, and I'm going to go 3.8 for growth. Yield, surprisingly good considering. and I'm going to give that a 4. So let's see how that looks. Yeah, just under 4. So it's pretty much on average. I think in summary then, just to conclude. So, all right. I think it's interesting. The competition is nuts on this property. I think you would risk a down valuation on this, which is annoying. If you bid up to 225, that kind of money. They plan on closing the sale today. Odds of actually getting this property are very low, but we wanted to do the video just to talk it through so you can get your context on it. All right then, thank you very much.